Hi, I'm Dawn, and this is the SMB Basket Trauma Clinic. We are having a very busy day. I just had flowers delivered for a patient that is undergoing surgery as we speak. But my focus today is going to be a patient that just arrived. This is another Longaberger Basket rescue, and tonight I am going to take a thrifted button basket and flip it into a Beehive serving dome. I'd like to thank my co-host Tracy of Tracy Vanover Designs. You're going to find the link to her channel and the playlist in the description box below. You may remember this thrifting trip. It was one heck of a trip. I found 3 Longaberger baskets in total. This one in particular I've already rehabbed, and I will leave the link for that video in the description box below. But I still have these other 2 to play with. Very exciting. But it's the button basket that's going to get rehabbed this time. Well, then, a short time later at Goodwill, I ran into this basket. It is from Roy's Craft Baskets, and this little guy only cost me $3.49. It is their version of the button basket, and I'm going to be using both these baskets in my project. Both these baskets are high quality, and they're really difficult to tell apart. Now, I have a question. Can you tell them apart? A or B? Which is the Longaberger basket? Leave a comment below and tell me why you think so. And Tracy, you are not allowed to answer this question because I know you know. As with the darning basket, the first thing I need to do is remove the handles. And neither of these baskets played nice. I was able to pretty easily get the handles off of that darning basket, but this one was fighting me all the way, as was the other button basket. But eventually I figured out a way to do it. I had to resort to power tools. I had to bust out my drill. After using my razor knife to cut off the handles, I used my drill to eat away at the leather around that little nail because she wasn't coming out. So that had to be done, but I eventually was successful and I got all 4 handles out of both those little baskets. So I wanted to get those nails back in there for the integrity of the basket. And since I didn't have any apparatus like in a factory to put them back in, I grabbed my clamp and I just clamped them really tight, and it worked. It drove them right back into the basket. So the plan here is to make a beehive. Well, a flat bottom basket is not a beehive shape. So I need to extend, because these baskets will both be upside down, I need to extend the bottom, which will become the top of one of my baskets. Now, this little piece of wood here is from a previous project, as most of my little doodads are. This was a candlestick that I disassembled for something else. I can't even remember what. But I am sanding it smooth, and this is going to get glued onto the bottom of the smaller of my button baskets. One is just a hair smaller than the other. So once I get this sanded, I am going to paint it hazelnut. This is a Waverly chalk paint, and it is hazelnut. Like my coffee some mornings. I love this color, and this is just a base coat, so this is not what we're going to see when it's all said and done. But you'll see what the top coat's going to be, and this is perfect for giving it that first primed coat. Now I turn my attention to one of my little button baskets, and I am using the same hazelnut to paint the inside of this little guy. I have to get into all the little crevasses because someone might see it, and I don't want anybody to see the natural basket. So I am making sure that I hit it, and I hit it well. I will also be painting the outside. So once I get my first button basket painted, then I turn my attention to the second button basket, and I get the inside of that painted as well. Now that I have that hazelnut on all my pieces, I am using wood glue to adhere that bottom of the candlestick onto the bottom of the smaller basket. I'm using a ton of wood glue because I don't want this to come off. And I need to center it really well and then I need to make sure that it adheres well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it in place for a little bit, and then I'm gonna flip it over and put something heavy in the inside of the basket to push it down because it's a little bit concave, and I need those two items to make contact so this thing stays put. My glue has dried, and now I'm able to put on that top coat. And this top coat is a folk art metallic, and it is antique gold. It is a really pretty, and I've used it before. I'll use it again because I love it. And as you can see, that hazelnut was a perfect base coat for this paint because it looks similar, just not metallic, not blingy. So now here comes the bling. And once I get the top part of my dome complete, then I go ahead and I put a coat of this metallic on the bottom basket. I am not painting the inside of these baskets. They're just going to remain that lovely hazelnut. Because I'm making a dome, basically a cloche, a two-tiered cloche, she needs a handle. And I found this handle at Hobby Lobby, and this is another one of my little wig buttons that I have a whole stash of that I got resale at one of my favorite places, and I need to put a hole in here. So step one is to drill a little primary hole, a little place marker, so to speak, and then I'm gonna measure it out to make sure that I am centered, and then I will change to a larger drill bit and then drill my permanent hole. I need something for underneath both my baskets because they're both domes, right? So these two saucers, they're terracotta, but they have a finish on them, and they're from Better Homes and Garden. I got them at Walmart on clearance after garden season last year, and I am going to use these. This now is my little handle, as you saw previously, but I want you to take a look at the color of it. I love, love, love that color. It's kind of you can't tell it here, but it's kind of a blue. It's kind of a blue-green. And I am going to combo these two colors of paint, this sage and this matte folk art blue echo, to come up with this color. Now this is darn close to the color of my little handle, my little knob. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by giving both of the saucers a nice coat of this blue greenish color, and I'm not going to paint the underneath side. They have little felt pads that I don't want to interfere with because they're in really great shape. They are brand new. So I'm going to paint the sides of these and the interior, and then we're going to move on and do a little something extra. My handle is just not this plain blue-green color. It has a finish over top of it. It has a brown, almost aged look to it. Well, I'm going to try to not totally copy it, but just try to do something similar. But I'm also using that antique gold from my baskets as my first layer of aging. Then, once I have both my saucers with the little dotted pattern, random pattern of the antique gold, I will come back and hit everything on top of it, leaving some of the gold show. I will hit it with burnt umber. If it's a beehive, we need some bees, so I'm going to make some bees. I picked up this really cute little bee stencil at Hobby Lobby, and it was super cheap. It was full price, but it was super cheap. And I am going to take my stencil and I am going to trace out the bee's body, not his wings, nor his little antenna, just his little body. I'm going to trace it out on this pretty decently thick cardstock. I don't know what weight it is, but I am going to trace him out, all his little lines as is. I'm also going to trace him out as one full piece, if that makes sense. I trace out 4 of the lines of his body. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And then the one whole body, because I want this to look like it's woven to some degree, almost mimicking the sides of my basket. After all my components are traced, then I just need to cut them out before we head to the next step. I have also cut out a whole bee body out of brown shipping paper. The paper bee body will become the back. It will seal in the wings and the antlers when we get to that point. But you can see here how I am taking the components, all the little individual components, and I am depogging it onto my solid bee body. So I am going to go stripe after stripe, his little head on top of his little head, to create dimension. That's what this is all about, is I'm creating a little dimensional bee, and this thing is bendable too, which is pretty cool. So I am adding one head on top of the next, on top of the next, and then I will add stripe on top of the stripe on top of the stripe. Then I am going to paint him that same antique gold. Now it's time for his wings. His wings are going to be made out of wax paper. I needed something that was semi-translucent, and I thought the best thing would be wax paper because I want them to really look like little bee wings. So I am going to trace out and then cut out 3 wings per each side of my bee. So it's going to be 3 wings for the right side and 3 wings for the left side, and it's going to be one whole piece. It's not going to be a tiny little wing and then a tiny little wing. And you can see here how I am tracing them, so that way when I cut them out, it will be one piece, not 2 separate pieces for each wing. I am going to fold my wings in half. So right now I'm just working on one side of my bee. So I will fold one set of wings up, one set of wings down, and the one in the middle will kind of just be flat. And I am going to paint all my wings with this folk art sugar metallic. And this is, I believe, crystal white is what I'm using. It's a really pretty, and I got it on clearance. Every time I go to any store, retail, I look for clearance stuff first because I am thrifty. I'm not cheap, I swear. I am super thrifty because I want as much as I can get for my money. So these little wings are going to get painted both sides. I will let them dry, hit the other side, and then they're going to get glued together. Now my little antenna, my little antler antennas are going to be made out of embroidery floss. I will knot the ends. I will paint them also with this really pretty sugar metallic, and they will get glued to the back side of that bee that we just created, and then I will seal it with that paper bee body, and then we will have a bee. Actually, I made 3 in total. Let's rescue a Bayberry basket and give it new life. Back at Goodwill, I found this poor sad little thing, this Bayberry basket, 1993, and she is a mess. She is a mess. I do have one of these that is in perfect condition in storage, so I am going to pick this up and I'm going to do something to her. Don't know what yet, but I am. So I got her home. She has a protector and everything, and she was $6.49, and the little brass tag still has the covering over it, so that's a plus. That's a plus. But the rest of it, she is kind of a disgusting mess. So I thought, step 1, let's clean it up. Let's clean her up and see how she turns out. I am starting with my handy dandy toothbrush and some warm soapy water to give her a nice scrub. And I'm gonna hit the entire thing. And in areas it's already looking a little better. I mean, let's face it, she was really disgusting. And then I'm gonna up the ante a bit, and I'm gonna bust out the Zep. I love this product. They have a whole line of products. They're cleaning products and they're industrial. And this is Zep All Around Oxy. It is a cleaner and degreaser. And I figured it can't hurt, right? It can't hurt. So I'm gonna saturate this thing and scrub the living daylights out of it. So the next step after I hit it with my Zep was to hit it with my Goo Gone. After I hit the entire thing with Goo Gone, I rinsed it really, really well with warm water, warm soapy water, and then a warm water rinse, and I'm leaving it sit here to dry. We'll see what it looks like once she's dry. Let's make over a thrifted bee accessory. I saw this little guy at my favorite resale shop, and it was $2, but guess what? It wasn't. It was only $1. Everything but clothes and furniture was half off, and I grabbed it. It is so cute. I just don't like the color, but we're about to change that. I am hitting every bit of this blue part with plaster chalk paint from Waverly. The entire thing. It'll probably take a couple coats, but that's all right. I'm even going to go around inside the rim just a little bit, just in case I want to put live flowers in here. I am not doing that little rim around the bottom, that kind of corky looking color, because I am going to hit that with my antique gold so that we coordinate nicely with my beehive cloche. I'm happy to say we saved many patients today. Let's go visit them to see how they're doing. As you recall, our Bayberry basket was in very bad shape. But after a couple of thorough scrubbings with some decent products and that toothbrush, she looks pretty darn good. I mean, so nice I didn't have the heart to do anything else to her other than that cleaning. I'm shocked. I don't know about you guys, but she was pretty beat up, and to come to this level of cleanliness, not too shabby. So I am going to use one of my frogs, actually my favorite frog. I have used frogs before, and I will leave the link to that video in the description box below. But this frog goes in, and then all I need are some wildflowers, and look how absolutely gorgeous this thing looks. These wildflowers are everywhere here in the Midwest. They're called Queen Anne's lace, and they're simply gorgeous. And I just stopped my car along the side of the road, and I cut down a whole bunch of them. They are just absolutely gorgeous, and I am so happy at this point that I've not done anything more to this beautiful basket other than clean her up. Here's that pretty little bee picture that I found, and doesn't she look so much nicer? She's happier now, she said, in this bright plaster off-white Waverly chalk paint, and the bottom I painted that antique gold so it would coordinate with my beehive dome. I gave her some Queen Anne's lace as well. Here's the main attraction, my beautiful two-tiered basket beehive dome. Isn't that gold gorgeous? Absolutely spectacular. And you can see the little handle that I added and the little saucer at the bottom. Absolutely fabulous. So pleased with this little number. Which basket is the Longaberger? That's the question. So you simply lift the first lid and you have that saucer. The saucer from Better Homes and Garden that I painted. The clearance saucer. And I simply have some soaps displayed here now. And take a look at my bees. There's a couple of my little bees just hanging out in that plant. So cute. You lift the second part of the dome, and there you have more hidden treasures on another saucer. Now here you can see the dome displayed single level, which frees up the bottom basket to simply be a basket. And there's another one of my little bees, just buzzing around, just hanging out. But you can see how utilitarian it is, and it's pretty. And everybody loves bees. Here's a third way to display the beehive dome, where the tops of them are together so that it is one giant basket inside. This gives you even more storage. Some wax paper on either of the little two saucers, and you could easily use this to serve food. When I put that back piece of brown paper on my bees, I added a little piece of wire, a little hooked wire, so I could hang him on the basket if I chose to, if he wanted to be on the hive. And if you notice, he actually looks like he is woven. This has been a Longaberger Basket Rescue. Thanks again to my co-host Tracy of Tracy Vanover Designs. You're going to find the link to her channel and this playlist in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your family, your friends, and anyone that likes thrifting, Longaberger baskets, French country decor, and shabby chic style. You can follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to check out my shop on Etsy. Leave me a comment. I absolutely love hearing from you. Ring the bell to get notifications of all my new videos. And the best way to support my channel is to subscribe. So don't forget to subscribe. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.